All right, on to video number 3. Doing a little quick uh, post hoc intro for this video. So we're now in round 8, starting round 8. Just a reminder, in the first 4 rounds, video 1, we lost Berlin as access. And so video 5 through 8 was the recovery from the disaster, recovering Berlin, trying to rebuild Germany, and Japan trying to come as quickly as they can into the race for Moscow. Meanwhile, we did see Germany come into Africa and do a conquest of all of South Africa, so that's where they're getting their money to help rebuild from the loss of Berlin. So that was kind of the round 5 through 8, and this is the setup we're currently looking at. We do still have Karelia stacked at the moment, and we're playing back and forth with the Russian and UK on this side, trading on the west side, and you can kind of see Japan starting to build up their forces up here, trying to match them in the north. And so here, rounds 8 through 12, we're going to get to see the continued race for Moscow versus the race for Berlin, as well as the Battle of Africa. So I hope you learn some stuff and enjoy. Oh shoot, I did it again. This is just not a great video. I apologize. I started doing my German turn real quick. I'm going to return back to the map. I ended up repairing 7 units to Germany, so it's to a -1. Bought 14 infantry because I had that many points. So I have 2, 9, and 3 going in. I did 2 infantry and a fighter to attack his 1 tank, 3 infantry, 3 fighters, and a bomber to attack his 2 infantry and artillery that were here. I'm moving an attack here with 4 tanks, 4 artillery, and 4 infantry to start with. Because if I have 4 end here, it should give me, I believe, enough of a mini stack. I'm going to recalculate that before I hit the finalize button, that he can't trade it again. And then I'm using 2 infantry and a fighter coming over to trade here. The good news is, because he kept his Americans back, which I actually kind of thought he was going to go to Finland, it gives me a breather in here that only 2, 2, and then 2 transports can hit Karelia, so I don't have to defend Karelia as heavily this go around. I'm going to move a Japan infantry here to block any Russian blitzing in there, and so then it's just the UK transports followed by that US attack I have to worry about. And worst case scenario, I can blitz 4 tanks of Japan over there if UK goes in there. So I really don't have to defend Karelia very heavily. So I'm going to use some of these units to come back to meet my 6 tanks and an AA, so I can try and squeeze out a few more infantry. I can't take too many because I don't want to lose him stacking over here. But I'm going to squeeze out a few more infantry, probably like 4 or so, maybe 5 into the Baltic to get back up to Karelia when this entire stack's going to move over with these 7 transports load of units coming in here. So the following turn, G10 for me to hold, I'm going to have to really stack up Karelia. And then we're going to be looking at pinning it down to trying to get to a, hopefully get to a West Russia, Japan stack. I'm even hoping maybe on G11 be able to come in, J11 come in, and go for it, get back to Berlin in time. That might be ambitious because he's got quite a strong Russian front here, a Russian setup. So, any case, we had good dice, lost 1 infantry. We're getting ready to do my Ukraine battle. Hopefully, we don't lose anybody here, and then moving from there. Good deal. Like I said, I will double check that numbers after I sign off. So I might move 1 more infantry into there. I forget the exact crunching. I'm going to check all my numbers because there's a lot of calculations I was checking going into this, and I'll explain it all here in a second. So in it, I had a lot of goals here. One, I don't want him to stack France or Northwest Europe, so I needed to see with 6 tanks and all my Air Force how many infantry I needed to keep back in Berlin to keep him from stacking here when he's got 3 UK transports and 9 US transports. A lot of times you kind of worry about when you do the stack, then you lose some momentum because you can't get more men. But he's got these 6 spares here plus spares here that he could take all of those transports and double up right back down onto France the next round as well as these two jumping in. So I really want to keep either Northwest Europe and France dead zone if at all possible. So there's calculations on figuring that out. I had to calculate how to hold a Karelia. Wanted to make sure I have enough troops in here to hold Berlin and not lose it again, as well as I want to try and transport units directly through Baltic in order to get to Karelia with that big US stack coming in. So there's a lot of computations, and in addition, I wanted to stack Ukraine to stop trading this, so I'm bleeding off trading units there, so now I should be able to hold Ukraine. So that's all the calculations I was doing. So I'm going to double check all that real quick here, but I'm going to bring some of these down. I'm going to move these guys either back or down wherever I need them. Move these guys, the tanks and the AA in here. Well, we're for sure going to do all of that. And then I'm just going to figure out these 35 infantry, just the best lineup between Karelia, Baltic, and Germany that I need to have to achieve all my goals. Knowing I got 9 men coming here, 3 coming here, and 2 coming in here. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the big strategy here that we're going for. So the big picture, here I am in J9. I'm planning on trying to stack Kaza or Novo J11. And how I'm thinking about doing that is by on G11 being able to come into West Russia, allows J11 to come in and get a stack in there. Even if Russia might have odds, they can't really go completely out on it if Germany's sitting right next door. It's also preparing for that 1-2 to attack on round 12. That being said, if I get to turn 11 and he's giving me the opportunity to stack one of these with Japan without having to bring West Russia or German down to West Russia, I will probably take that. Why turn 11, you say? Well, that is simply because of this move I made to get these extra infantry coming up. So G10 will have these 7 infantry coming in, and we'll have these guys hanging around, and then that allows me G11 to come into West Russia. G10, I might have to pull the tanks here to keep Ukraine stacked. We'll see. And then the other part of that is US 9. We're going to have 7 boats threatening Berlin. So, and that US 9 will be moving here, threatening on turn US 10. Everything goes as we're planning. Then US 10, they're back here. So German 11, I can have less defense in Berlin because he won't have his 7 boats sitting up here to attack on US 11. So that means these fighters could be more up to the front line to be able to have fighters and bomber and all these ground units sitting here ready to attack Russia in G12. And then also Japan sitting up here. So right now I'm tentatively targeting a round 12 strike on Moscow. I didn't calculate it all out. There's a lot of things that can happen between then and now, so maybe he gets enough defense in there, and of course we reserve the right to call it off. But right now, what that means is my plan is to get as many units that can get up here to Kaza on Japan 11. So what's going to reach in Japan on 11? Infantry I build here on turn 9, 10, 11, no. Infantry I build here on 9, 10, 11, no. Infantry I build here 9, 10, 11, yes. So infantry artillery that go here can reach. Any tanks I build here, they come down 9, 10, 11, they're there. Tanks here, I place them 9, 10, 11, 11 they can reach it as well. So any tanks in these units, any infantry, artillery here can make it to Kaza on round 11. The other thing is on Japan 10, any tanks I build here can make it. So I'm already planning on building 2 tanks next turn in Kaza. So that'll allow me, in addition to what's on the board right here, because these guys are going to go 9, 10, 11, so they're going to make it. These guys are going to make it. So everything that's on the board here, minus these guys up here, are going to make it there by turn 11. Plus the 2 ground I build here, plus any tanks I build here this turn, plus 2 tanks I build here. So I was really tempted to buy another fighter for trading purposes, but I'm putting that secondary. He did build this sub in India, which, again, he's threatening to make me have to build a destroyer, but I really don't want to waste money on Navy as Japan and a KGF. So I'm going to continue to have my battleship carrier helping protect here. Worst he can hit me right now is sub bomber, which is not great odds. Down here, I'm going to have to go ahead and bring these guys back to protect the transport. Africa's seeing its lights, but if I can distract him long enough here in Africa and the Indian Ocean and have his eyes away from this, I'm fine with it. So if we can make him bring units, I was keeping them here just to prevent U.S. from dropping units here, but if these transports come here, then they're not going up here. So I think I've done my job here. I'm going to move my battleship sub back over to here. That does give him a sub bomber attack on the transport here, and yes, technically that would be like a 45%, which some may say that's awfully risky, but what is this transport? I mean, I've gotten most of my men off of here. I can only take 4 men off of Japan on any time. This transport really isn't that valuable to me. So me to lose a battleship and sub versus him losing a bomber is not a bad thing to me. So I'm willing to risk that. So that's everything that I'm thinking about coming into this play. The other thing, I do want to keep this event guy stacked. He's got 3, 3, 3 that'll be able to attack me because I'm going to try and take both of these. And as it turns out, 4 infantry, 4 tanks, and artillery are fine to keep that stacked. So I am just going to blitz back and forth. Since he didn't attack Corellia with the UK, he's not going to attack it with the US. So normally I'm all about trading units. I would put a Japan infantry there to let Russia trade with Japan. However, I want to keep as few infantry up here because I want to keep them in here ready to go into Kaza. So if he gives me the opportunity in J10, I want to have as many units here as I can. So I don't want to move any more infantry or guys, up into a Vink guy if I don't have to. So, that's my plan, is to not have to do that at all. So I'm just going to blitz that for this turn. So all that said and done, that's why I decided to go with 2 tanks coming up here, 1 artillery, and then an infantry that can go here. And then filling out the infantry, because we are going to want follow-up attack, obviously. We want to keep infantry coming. They're just not going to be making that 11 stack. I gave up my plane because I was going to do 12 infantry in a plane instead, but I just want to get as many ground units in here by 11 as I can, so that's going to be our give up. The other good thing is he failed on Burma, so I don't have to worry about trading Burma. He does not have a tank here, so I don't need to keep anybody on Burma, so I'll be able to pull him right on out as well. And even this guy is going to make that 11 stack. So I do miss the fact that I don't have Hawaii, and unless I was to get another boat, that won't work. But I'm going to be bringing him back to 9 and 10, and then an 11, and then we can send a battleship and a transport out, later rounds. But that's unfortunate. So this is something I was looking at. He's been investing in here. If I don't do anything, then he's going to be able to bring the 2 infantry and 2 fighters, and he'll be able to stack here. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that just to prevent him from stacking the fighters. He could bring the 2 infantry, and I could hit him and then trade back and forth. I don't know. Or is it better to play defense? Maybe. Let's think about this for a second. We could... I just like taking it so that he can't just blitz his tank straight through and get that point right away. Maybe, maybe not. I'll be honest, I don't normally have Germany this long down here, so this is kind of a new play for me, and I'm not really thinking it through too well. I just want to distract him, have him send units this way. Go for it. Make him send his tank down in Africa. That's one less coming up here and distracting Japan. That's unfortunate. All right. So like I said, we're going to put the tanks up here. We're going to get the artillery here so that they can get into the game. And just throw the rest on there. All right, so unfortunately about Kaza, would have loved to have those 2 points, but you can't win them all. We'll see what happens next. So here we are, pivotal turn for Germany. US, of course, brought their big stack here. Interestingly, he brought these 2 transports, which adds a little headache because they can reach Karelia from that spot. And when I created my play last time, I forgot, to be perfectly honest, about those 3 and 3 U.S. infantry and artillery sitting here that he could grab and come in addition. So at the end of the day, he's got these 6 and 4, plus he could have a transport grab these guys. So 7 and 5 plus all these guys. So 37, 9. The 2 tanks. He's got the fighters, the bombers. All of that can reach Karelia. And unfortunately, I tried to do the math and crank it down and go, well, what if we sent all our Germany, we sent the AA, all the tanks, the infantry, built some infantry or even built fighters and flew all the rest of these fighters and bomber in here, and on Japan turn we could drive the 4 tanks and a fighter in here, and you throw all of that in compared to what he could throw in UK and all of that US in there, and it's still about a 40 IPC advantage on average for the US, and only about a 30% chance that 25 to 30% chance that my German fighters would survive at all. And if we lose all that stack of fighters, even if we do wipe out all those US troops, the rest of this is going to crumble pretty quickly. So I don't like it. I really was thinking about just putting it down and let's say let's roll some dice and just see, but I'm going to retreat out of Karelia. So my next thought was, since I'm going to stack Novo with Japan, maybe I should just dump all my Germans right into West Russia, right? You know, that'd be a good play. But then, the Americans come into Karelia because I can't dead zone Karelia either. That's the other bad side. So he comes into Karelia, then I could come back to Ukraine. He comes to Baltic. I can come back in here. He's crushing Berlin. Not to mention the fact that he could strafe the Russians against the Germans and really just create an issue that way. So unfortunately, look like it's slipping a little bit on me here. I don't know how much longer Germany's going to be able to hold up, and I really need to push these Japan troops, and I'm not going to be able to set up that 1-2 I was hoping to set up. That it's going to be a long way to go for Japan. Not the type of game I want, so that's going to mean India and Africa become more important. And Africa down here is falling apart. We're losing our troops. India, I really don't have much pressure to per se to put on there. I do have my 10 boats, so he's got to be mindful of that this turn. But the other thing he did by having 2 bombers and a sub, and his bomber and sub down here, is he's trying to make me build that destroyer. He doesn't want me to keep building land and air, but I'm going to see if I can avoid it. I don't know. I'm a little discouraged coming into this German turn, but anyways, we're going to go ahead and do our trades. I bought 13 infantry. I still had 3 more to spend. I could have bought 14 infantry. But the 14th one would have gone up here. I could have bought 3 artillery to help dead zone France and Northwest Europe from getting stacked and help me push more infantry towards the east. But I did the crunching and it really only added 1, maybe 2 more infantry I could send to the east. So knowing that his bombers are still alive and that he does like to bomb raid, I'm just going to save the IPC and keep building 13 infantry as long as I can. So that was my decision process in this one. Down here in Africa, I decided to go ahead and take the fight. I don't know if this is smart. It probably isn't. But, I can move this one German here, slow his tank advance. He's got these 2 bombers and this fighter that can hit. They can hit all 3 of these guys, even the fighter. So that 1 US troop, if I left him here, he could attack here. If I go here, he can attack there. There's not much I can do about that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take what I can, plug up them for a turn, keep my tank around to maybe mix things up and get some good dice. Maybe I didn't play Africa the best. I don't know. We don't have any supplies coming in. Eventually they're going to win it, so there we are. That's the plan. I get this with no losses. It gives them an interesting risk of potentially getting a fighter or a bomber hurt. So he's probably going to use the U.S. infantry and bombers or fighters to clear these guys, and I just hope maybe maybe they get a hit, and then I can take a tank a suicide run at some planes. UK will open this up. I mean, they'll hit here, but we'll see. All right, how do I want to do this? Having him here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, if we do get a cheeky play on some airplanes, I don't know. Maybe something happens and we can use a bomber to help. I don't know. Doesn't really matter much on the battle up here, so we'll put him there. So we're going to push as much as we can east there. At the very most, we need to try to pin him in Karelia so that he doesn't leak too much into the Moscow. If he does send them, then I can cut his forces in half. So. I just goof? Oh, crud. I did not pay attention to how many I had sitting in Berlin for defensive measures. I hope he doesn't have enough to come in here. He probably does. Oh well. The mistakes we make. Okay, so and 10, I gotta do a summary again post move as once again I got looking at the game and then just started clicking and forgot to record. So going back to UK's turn, they bought 7 infantry, 2 artilleries. They attacked Burma and they took it with just 1 person there. Came into Sudan, which was kind of what I was hoping, because now I can do a one-on-one tank versus tank and my bomber. Because one thing that I did know is that he wasn't going to trade both France and Northwest Europe because he's coming in to get the Karelia stack. So I'm giving up Karelia, which is unfortunate. He's going to stack it. But I don't have to train Baltic or France. I'll probably have to trade both these from the Russians, but I'll have 3 territories to trade, which I got 5 fighters and my bombers. I landed my bomber back in Italy so that it could come down and help in Africa. And if I can even just kill this tank, that'll be benefit to me. The remaining question is, does he take his 1 infantry and his fighter and bombers to make the kill here? If he does that, then he's going to start creeping the American down here. But if I can kill the tank, that's a 2-move piece where the bomber again can come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down here into South Africa and kind of hide maybe, although his bombers will be able to attack it. I don't know. It's going to depend on what US does here, if I just go one-on-one or if I bring the bomber in to help. If the US does not attack here, then that'll give me a chance to go here and then secure Africa until these Americans can come on down. So I think he almost has to attack here. So we'll see what he does there. But again, yeah, he did take Northwest Europe and then, of course, landed in Karelia, which was to be expected. So on to my turn. Japan. He was hoping to, by moving his subs and bombers down here, he wanted me to buy a destroyer. But the reality is a destroyer just spending IPC on a destroyer where I need to get everything land. Everything that can attack Moscow. That's 8 IPC. That's 2 units. That's not going to be attacking at Moscow at some point. So I'm going to put a plug in here for the new calculator at AA1942calc.com. A great setup here. You can do multiple rounds, lots of great hold your histories, all sorts of great stuff. But in any case, what I looked at was 2 bombers and 1 submarine, 1 bomber, 1 submarine, versus, well, as I had it, if I built a destroyer, he had an 19% chance to beat me. If I did a fighter build there instead, he's got 13% to live. So it's actually more beneficial for me to build a fighter that was be a destroyer for the defensive of that C Zone 61. Plus, a fighter can go on land, obviously. So I did buy 9 infantry, 1 fighter, and 2 artilleries. Unfortunately, buying the fighter meant I couldn't buy the tanks that I wanted to buy here to try to blitz on through here to Kaza, but nonetheless, we were able to move, stat, and stack Novo, and we've got another 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 units coming in here, and I can fly the fighters, 18 units coming in. So if he wants to unstack me, he's going to pretty much have to abandon Caucasus here. So that's the positive news. I didn't do the calculations. He may be able to still hold Caucasus with a light force. I don't know. But anyways, it's going to be pulling people back into Moscow, and I have a pretty good defense there. Of course, if I take those fighters out, that means I have to do something else down here, and we'll figure that out next turn. So, in any case, otherwise there wasn't anything really exciting. I just used my infantries that I had up here to go ahead and take these with infantry, so he has to trade them. Stacked Novo, took this one with one, and here I did move my fleet down here. I couldn't go on to Indies itself because the battleship sub really is no match for the sub 2 bombers or the sub bomber. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have gone here, because then he would have thought, well, maybe it's better for those bombers to attack here. And like I said, I'm half willing to lose these because they're not going to do much. But that would mean his bombers weren't going over here into Africa. I would have given him something to distract him with. Anyways, hindsight's 50-50, whatever, or 20-20, excuse me. So I'm going to probably end up, I probably can't get these guys in this way and still be shucking my infantry because of his subs and bombers. So most likely it's going to be a grab and come back over here and then come back and get Hawaii, which is one of the targets I really do still need to get to, but I can't afford to get anybody out of here because of these subs. So there we go. That's Japan 10. Again, I'm sorry I didn't record while I was thinking. One of these times I will actually remember to do all of that. But there we go. So here we come back. Looking at the U.S. Russian moves. So U.S. bought 5 infantry, 2 artillery, and 2 fighters. So we're going to start having some airplanes flying through here, which unfortunately this is what's going to make my original goal of making Japan a fast game. Because of that whole Air Force loss, it's not going to be a slow game, because now that he's in Karelia, he can start leaking troops into Moscow as needed, and meanwhile he's going to have more and more fighters he can flow into there as well. So and this is going to, because I had to give Karelia up, I gathered and gave in to the fact that this is going to be a grind game. Unfortunately, I feel like he has a little bit of advantage right now, but we're going to do everything we can. And this is a dice game, so certainly at some point the dice can make or break you. Anyways, so he went and he was able to trade France there. He did come down in here into Africa, moved a tank to Archangel, and then later put a infantry because I only got 3 infantry there, but I do have the capability of sneaking a tank over there, so I haven't decided yet. That's Japan's turn, whether we want to trade a tank for his tank or not. Is a Japan tank equal to a US tank? Which one's more valuable? They're both aggressors, they're both attackers on the final countdown. This would get me a Russian infantry in it too, so I kind of lean towards going ahead and taking them, but I haven't made that decision for sure. Depends what's left down here. Any case, so this is what Africa's looking like now. Yeah, the interesting plays here, interesting thought processes. The fact that he's got this transport here with the 2 infantry and a fighter here. So if I moved him to South Africa to kind of quasi-protect him, except for a direct attack there, you know, the bomber here could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but couldn't hit me, so I could be safe from the UK, but then he could bring the transport down, excuse me, the 2 bombers here to hit me, and he's for sure to kill my tank there. So anywhere on these 3, my tank is not safe. If I move my tank over to here, then we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he does have a tank bomber against my tank. And same thing here, you know, then he even has the fighter added on. So that's really the safest place if I'm going to play defensively. But even that, you know, I mean, really, what are we talking about? Again, the bomber's going to get in there. So time's ticking. If I came down here, I could potentially save this by throwing the battleship down here and sub, because he's only got 2 destroyers, so he'd have to sacrifice the transport to take it. And potentially 2 bombers against my battleship. So, we'll see. If he doesn't bring the UK destroyer down here, then I'll probably bring my sub back this way, just to discourage him. But I think as far as Germany's concerned, I'm going to go ahead and one-on-one with the tank. That's my best odds against a one-to-one with the tank, and make his infantry have to march and ship down through here. Otherwise, we got some trading we got to do. The big decision here is I had 46 IPC to spend, so I could do 12 infantry and 1 fighter, and that's exactly 46. It gives me 1 more fighter in here. Or I could do 13 infantry and save 7 for later, knowing, again, he does have his bombers here, and Germany's about to lose its income, so we're not going to be able to keep building 13 units, so just save for the future for 2 more infantry down the line. So which is worth more, an infantry now and 2, I'll probably have enough around 12, but around 13 and 14 infantry then, or a fighter now. He again is kind of thin on his boats up here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a battleship, so I count that as 6 versus my 6. And up here he's got 2, 4, 6 versus my 6. So 1 more fighter here would make it 7, and I think make him have to think a little bit more. Plus, we're going to reposition my bomber so that he doesn't get season 3 free anymore. So normally I would not buy an airplane this late in the game. You know, when we're out of Karelia, I mean, we're going in a turtle mode. And 3 infantry is definitely better than a fighter when it comes to the final Berlin fight. But what about the fact that that next fighter is going to help with trading a little bit more efficiently as we turtle, as well as maybe make him buy 1 more boat to have to protect his fleets here. So I decided to go ahead and buy that 1 fighter. Again, I didn't sit there and analyze it to the economic T to see how it goes. It just feels good. As a kid, I liked playing with those little plastic fighters anyway, so if I can play with 6 of those German fighters, that's great. Oh, yep, almost forgot. We're going to go ahead and do it. Wow. Why couldn't we save those for a better battle? Oh, well, I guess that's why. Gotta remember, I gotta be careful of that button because I have my bomber go sometimes. Well, I guess glad I got those lucky rolls early anyways. Okay. two tight battles. Two fighter hits right off the bat. Happy with that. Last but not least, the tank on tank. I just want to at least hit him. I don't care if I live. I just want to kill the tank to stop the blitz. Come on, right off the bat. Wrangle that tank. No! Alright, well that cost me a couple IPC extra in Africa. Oh well. Life is. Okay, so let's see. 17. 18 in here. Building 11, so we need to leave 8. I'm gonna pause for a second here and check one thing I didn't think about. Alright. Like I said, just a second. Basically, what I wanted to check was it at all possible to stack Ukraine as well as Bello to prevent having to trade, and the answer is no, not really. Not without having to bring fighters back to Bello, which right now I want to push as many infantry up as I can, so I need the fighters in there to help protect. So, short answer is no. We can keep our tanks back in Poland so that they can still help dead zone the west coast as well. So that should give me more than enough to protect in here. So we got 15, 25, 30 units all together. Hypersensitive after losing Berlin once this game. So he's got 6 and 8, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So yeah, no, we should be well safe from them. Plus I think we should have, that'll give me 19, 20, 21 to be able to prevent a stack there. 19, 22 to be able to prevent a stack there. So I think there we go. Alright. That'll be it. Alright, I'm going to see how well I can play quickly here. I gotta run real fast here, but real fast. Sunray, UK, purchased 8 infantry. Did Ukraine. Came down here through Africa. Attacked Burma. I did kill this too. They're attacking at least. Hit Northwest Europe, France, all throughout there. And he hit West Russia kind of heavily. That's going to be a little bit of a stinker with an AA gun and 6 units there. Plus, if he decides to throw anybody else in there for Germany, that's a stinker for them. But the good news is those are guys that aren't defending Moscow from Japan. So, see. The most interesting thing here is I think he lost count of my transport up here. That I actually have 6 transports carrying 11 units plus my 2 airs and 2 battleships that it could hit India. And I really thought about this. It came to like 75% chance success rate. But I really looked at, well, what if I cut my supply line off here, push into Moscow, and I just simply don't have enough. Even if I got all tanks and then all airplanes, I don't have enough for Moscow in 2 turns. So I really don't want to cut that supply chain of the forward transfers going at a time. The good news is we're going to stack into Kaza, so they're kind of stuck there, and you know, maybe it's worth just letting them dump three units of worth of IPC into their turn. We're going to set it up so if he leaves it open again, we'll have 6 full transports, including some artillery that maybe will take a shot next turn, maybe not. You know, we'll just see. But right now I need at least 1 more round, if not 2 more rounds of dumping infantry onto the mainland. So this is what I'm looking at buying, just to maximize my land grab: 7 infantry, 4 artillery, 2 tanks. I'm already kind of planning, so if next turn I decide to go here, I'm going to put 2 artillery here, put my tanks up here that can move in 2 turns, put my 2 artillery here, so that I will have that much more force coming in instead of 1 and just 9 units. I have 2 artillery and 10 units, and I'm going to put 2 other artillery up here, because what I'm kind of setting at is, well, just the 1, and then coming back, you know, I'm going to go ahead and build my full max here in case I don't go for it, so I have people to move. But if I come here 1 turn, next turn come on back, and then the 3rd turn I can come over here if I've got enough units on the mainland to then threaten the west coast of US and give them something to think about. Anyways, that's all my thoughts that I went into this phase. We are going to go ahead and try and kill his infantry in a tank, 2 infantry in a tank for 1 infantry in a tank. It gives me like 70% odds or 69% odds, something like that. So we're going to go for that. I decided to hold 3 back there just in case you're wondering. As I was going there, my brain was spinning. Just in case we fail up there on the Archangel or Vologda, you know, if one of these doesn't work out as planned, so we can stop any of the blitzing tanks going through there trying to gobble up some northern Russian lands. Nice to see that, but now comes a big one. Need an infantry and tank to hit right off the bat. Fingers crossed. Saying my are in Jesus' prayers. Go. Come on. Dice, dice, dice. Dice, dice, dice. Dice, dice, dice. Ah. That's why we left those infantry back in case he decides to shoot a tank or multiple on up there. We'll have the 3, plus we'll have our tanks that can always kick back, and we're going to bring our air onto land. So that's why he stayed there. Alright, so here we go. German 12. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I'm playing this right or not. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of considerations to be made. But the points of emphasis is he did move his US as well as 4 Russian infantry into here. 48, 54. I don't think he's at threat of me attacking even without moving those 4 infantry in, so I don't know if that's something that's planning to do something more with or what. But yeah, the question here becomes, so what's his plan with the West Russia force? I can continue to stack Belorussia, which means I can cut off his Karelia supply until he moves back up there. So I don't know if he just wanted to stack here once, but then it lets me trade these 2 and he doesn't get this back once without coming back into C-Zone 5. So, you know, he stacks 2 but gives up 4 to trade. It's trading 6. I don't know. So I don't think it's to come here and move back, but more likely what we're looking at is here and be able to move on to Caucasus here. So, and if he was bringing his US down here, you know, he's got enough troops between all this that he probably can stack both Moscow and Caucasus against Japan. And if he can stack both, then that means Japan has to get off of Kaza. Either going up, you know, coming down, it would be tough because he'd be a lot of forces staring him down this way. If I come up, then these guys get to sneak back in here with him. But if he goes down here, Germany hangs out, continues to hold pressure on Karelia and West Russia. So I'm pretty sure that's, I won't say I'm pretty sure, but I think that might be what he's thinking about, is coming here, push me off of Kaza, sneak these guys in, come on back up, continue his pressure here, because he's also putting landing here where he's looking to threaten into Mediterranean. I really need all 13 of, well, in this case it'll only be 12 because he bombed again successfully. Frustrating. But if he, I really want to continue to build units as efficiently and as many as I can, so I can still get 12 infantry right now this turn, and so I really don't want to lose 2 infantry by giving up Italy, so I really want to stack both Italy and Berlin. I looked at the idea of moving my Germans down to Ukraine, because then my 1-2 would keep him out of Caucasus in all likelihood. However, if I do that, then these guys can move in, he can bring his UK moving in here, and in all likelihood I'm not going to see Belarusia again, at least as a stack for Germany, and then it's just crumbling from that point. So I think it's important to hold the line up here. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to focus on, continuing to stack here. I would love to get more infantry pushing, but unfortunately I'm going to have to keep all my infantry back for the stacks back this way, but then next turn I'll be able to push another set of infantry up, so hopefully we'll have some luck there. I'm still going to be keeping my tanks mostly in Poland, and we're just going to see how we can trade. Like I said, I was looking at if I could have moved these guys stacked Ukraine and moved a mini stack in the Baltic that could dead zone Karelia, I would have been happy, but it would have taken a good bit to dead zone Karelia, and the best I could see was moving like 8 infantry, a couple from here, the 7 from here, as a stack kill, and then maybe half my tanks, because the other half would have to go down to Ukraine to help stack it. Except for when I looked at it, the 3 UK transports, the 3 US transports with all this air, you know, the 2 fighters, 3 fighters, a couple bombers, a fighter, all this air that he has around, he could wipe them out at a profitable rate at the end of the day. So I don't think I have enough to push into Baltic to dead zone Karelia, so I'd be coming to Ukraine and just opening up the gates there and not be able to close them back down. So that's my final decision. I don't know if this is the right thinking or not, but we're going to go with it. Alright, unfortunately, because I'm not stack moving here and stack moving here, that means I gotta trade 5 different zones. I've got 7 planes. 2 of the zones have 2 infantry. I'm not as critically needing to clear this guy, so if this guy doesn't clear, it's not as critical of an issue, other than I lose those 2 IPCs, so I am going to go lightly on that one. Heavier there. I really don't want to open up Ukraine, so I am going to go a 2-1 there. send that extra one or not. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and send them. You know, right now the worst thing that can happen is to have France be open and leave it open to a stack. So I want to check my numbers real quick. Okay, 37 up there is my goal. We're building 9. I want to make sure we have, let's see, at least 18 in here. So we need to leave 6 down here. Extra guy. Do I want to go Northwest Europe? Or do I want to save him? Go ahead and go that way this time, I think. So that leaves me, I can leave 9, move 6 down, 3 here, we got our 4 planes. Alright, so here we go. So I'm choosing to put heavy planes into Italy. 1, to discourage him, but 2, that lets me keep more infantry in Berlin, which is that one more step closer to getting to the Eastern Front, versus if I did all infantry stacked down here, they'd be that much further from the Eastern Front. I'm getting close to where I need to just do 1 and 1 on these trades, but we're going to keep it out right now. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Yeah. So that's my only 1, 1. All right. Riskiest of them, so that's a good thing. And to next, Karelia. There we go. Biff. Alright. Good luck so far in the trade. Let's keep it going the whole way through now. We could use some. I'll be honest, in this game, I'm feeling behind, and I feel like it's starting to slip further away. So I need a little going my way. Certainly, the game is still within a dice god's moment. Not even dice god, but just lucky dice difference. But I definitely think he has the advantage right now, and so I need a little bit of luck. So far these are going well. This one's really important to go well. Alright, clean sweep. Alright, clean sweep. There. I can get 1 infantry moving this towards Eastern Front. That'll give me 18, 20. And having the other 2 tanks here in Poland, I'm not really going to be dead zoning a whole lot. Other than I will be putting some pressure on here, but that extra tank, just to make sure I don't lose Berlin again accidentally. That was horrible. We had some good luck that dice. We need some more rounds like that on both sides of the dice and get me back into this game. Alright, moving on to Japan 12. Let's go back to UK. Actually, remembered to do it ahead of time this time, so he bought 8 infantry, 2 artillery. Unfortunately, UK is richer than I'd like them to be, but it is what it is. And he moved back into C Zone 5 here. He did take Ukraine and Baltic. He attacked Northwest Europe but did not win that one. He also attacked Burma and took that one. Took Karelia, which was not unexpected, obviously, and then blitzed in down here in Africa. Nothing really unexpected there. The U.S. move is going to be the interesting move. I'm going to talk just a little bit about the position that we're sitting in here, and what I'm looking at. So, I'm trying to figure out when my timing that Japan will be able to attack Moscow on is. And the reality is, for him to take Berlin, at some point these Americans have to get over there. But when they're sitting here in West Russia, whenever I build up, he can just step right back into Russia. So I have no timing right now. I mean, I still got a while till I can defeat the number of guys he has there anyways. But I have no real timing right now as long as US is sitting here, or if they come down into Caucasus, which is which is a possibility. Although I kind of doubt it. I do highly doubt he's going to do that, but he might. As long as they're down here, they're one step away from Moscow. I really don't have a timing plan because he's got overwhelming numbers here. The good news is I am one step away from hitting Moscow. He is 1, 2, 3 steps away from hitting Germany. Even when he comes back up to Karelia, he's still going to be 2 spots away when I've got 1 spot. And that's the slight thing that we got to look for so that we can eventually take Moscow and hopefully be able to blitz tanks over to Ukraine to Berlin and bring fighters in to defend Berlin. It's going to be really tight. I got a feeling I'm probably going to get Moscow, but he's probably going to get Berlin at the same time, which is not good for me. We'll see. I'll keep my fingers crossed and let the dice do their thing. The other way that I was just kind of looking at this game, and like I said, I do feel slightly behind in this game, just because of my lack of firepower coming through here. I got a lot of units and I can stack, but I don't have a lot of firepower to attack with. And the fact that Germany, without just a complete sacrifice, they're not going to be able to help on Moscow for a 1-2 punch like I was hoping at the one point in the game. Other than I could sacrifice air or maybe get into Ukraine while Caucasus is stacked and blitz some tanks through Ukraine, or through Caucasus into there. So it's not likely Germany's going to be able to help. So it's really going to have to be down to Japan, and we're really struggling getting push going that way and getting firepower up there. That said, we're going to see what we decide to do on this next round. I actually got to think about my purchase for a minute, but I just wanted to kind of talk about the position a little bit more. So the other thing that I look at is, good old attack power. So I'm sitting here 17 attack power behind the Allies, with still Japan to purchase and US to purchase, at 48 and 45. So that's 1 AP, one more infantry I could buy, so that'd be 1 more attack power. So really I'm 16 attack power kind of behind him when we talk about an even round. What I went ahead and looked at, so remember that 16, difference. If I come back in here and I look at my attack power that's in boats, I've got 4, 5, 9, 11 attack power in boats. He has 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 attack power in boats versus my 16. So the reason I do that is in the KGF, it's really about the ground at this point. The boats, they'll be important somewhat later on, but right now it's really about the ground. So that's 9 of his advantage attack power is in boats, which it really isn't going to help the Berlin-Moscow race. So that 16 goes down to basically a 7-point advantage. I did my math there. I was saying too many numbers at one time, but you get kind of the idea. That attack power is a little bit closer than what it looks like. But he does have income right now because he's got Africa now, and I'm not really pushing that. And I could think about moving a stack here, which is one of the things I'm considering, but it's going to have to be a pretty big stack to prevent getting hammered by the UK. And still be able to keep the Kaza stack. And if I do that, and US comes down into here, they're then cut off. Where are they going to go? They either got to go ahead and attack India and get stuck way down here out of the loop, or they're going to get annihilated by the US, or they come down this way and go towards Africa, which again is going to buy income, but is it worth how many units it's going to take me to drop down here and have them get cut off? I kind of doubt it. So I don't know that I want to step into Persia here yet, even though it may seem like, well, if you go into Persia, then you get India, and that'll get rid of that nuisance. Alright, I stopped kind of mid-thought there, had to take a quick step away and had to think for a second as well. So I came back and I decided, what am I going to buy with those 13 units? And I tried to think about what is going to give me the most attack power, because I don't, where I was timing, hoping maybe 15, now I'm thinking hopefully maybe 16. Around 16, anything about here, we'll go 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 is probably optimistic, so really maybe 17-ish, and just hope that Germany can hold out that long. I don't like it, but I think this feels weird buying so many artillery. I ain't gonna lie, it's not my thing. I'm not an artillery guy, but I tried to think about all the buys I could do. I could have done 12 infantry and 1 bomber, but that would have been 16 attack power. I could have done some tanks in here, and it came up to like 23 attack power, but this is, right here, this is 26, 2 AP for each of these, because they're supporting, so that's 13 units, 26 attack power, plus there's 5 infantry all the way up here at the front line that these artillery will add, so this is really like a 31 attack power buy in essence. So I'm not normally an artillery person, but because of my need for attack power, instead of the tanks and trying to get speed up there, I'm shifting over to that. Don't know that I like it, but I'm going with it. Alright, so one of the interesting things here is he does have the 1 unit here. I'm not super concerned if I take the territory. I do want to kill the guy so he doesn't just march right into Thailand here. But he doesn't have any tanks in here to blitz through, so I at the very least just want to kill him. So I got this battleship with these 2 guys, and I really want to keep guys moving forward as much as possible. So I was initially planning on coming over here and then taking Hawaii, but I figured if I come to C zone 36 and the next turn to 50, then I can grab 2 guys and take Hawaii that turn. So I'm making a change of direction here for better or worse, but we'll see. The one thing I forgot, I meant to leave my sub down here, so he is going to take Madagascar with this transport. I'm going to bring a sub and at least be able to kill the transport, but bummer, I'm going to lose that now too, and I'm losing the income game. I gotta find ways to get income. So my way right now is trying to get as much into here so I can stack into Caucasus as soon as he moves out of West Russia. But and I also got to get more troops back up to the north. I did a bad job up here. I let him clear me out here, and I've got nothing to take these guys, so that's lost income as well. So I'm making some mistakes here. I've been trying to just streamline, but I need to get some income going here. It will take me my 2 tanks that I don't use, because I'm going to use 3 tanks to stack up there in Novinkai. I'll take my 2 tanks down here plus 10 infantry to hold here, and he's already got 8, 12, 13, 14 Americans down here, plus his air forces all over the place. So it's not like I'm going to really be able to take Africa and hold it really well without reinforcements. So I don't think that's it, and I just don't want to waste on India, to be frankly honest. I'd rather focus on trying to get to this 4-pointer than trying to get to this 3-pointer. I know I eventually got to take care of that. So that's my thoughts. Faulty as they probably are, I'm sure someone's going to listen to this and go, "What are you talking about?" I do want to disengage my sub here, because again, I want to bring that sub over here to kill his transport, which is still going to be worth him to take it, because who knows when I'm going to take Madagascar back. I'm debating bringing 2 infantry down to here to Thailand, because then I can come right back into there and take it back next turn. But I'd rather go up here I'd rather get the Victory City one versus the one that's not the Victory City. So I got a feeling I'm just going to go back that way and keep the units coming up this way as fast as I can. The good news, the other reason I did that is so that I have my 2 claims to trade both these territories this time. I'm only going to send 1 here, since it's only 1 unit or 1 IPC territory, so I'm just going to send 1 there for this purposes. I'm not going to thought about, is it worth trying to sacrifice my tank? And no, it's not. I don't think it's worth it sacrificing my tank, so we're not going there. So that's what we got. Let's go, battleship. Show you're worth 20 points, 20 IPC. Okay, we didn't actually buy that, but show us that battleships are worth your cost. There we go. Alright, here we go. Come on, fighters. This is that kind of dice I were talking about there in German term. We need to continue having some lucky dice. This is one of those ones that'd be really nice to get right here. Do we get the extra 1? Yes, we do. Alright. That's 1 and a third of a chance of a kill on another point, so they're really worth 2. 1 for the unit and a third chance of killing a infantry. It's worth 3, so 2 points by getting that roll. Yay! Good job, fighter. So this covers all 4 sea zones that he could land in, so I'll at least get the transport. from him. Still, if I was him, I would take it, because he's probably going to keep it. Don't forget these guys. Now, the other thing too here, since I got my 2 fighters up here to help try and trade territories, the other nice thing here is I could sit here and use 1 transport to, instead of 2 infantry and a fighter to trade here, I would be able to use a battleship and 1 transport carrying 2 people, since I've got an extra transport laying around right now, and I can still have 4 going back there. But we'll see what he presents. If he doesn't take Burma, then I can come on back out this way, or maybe I'll do that anyways. If these dang subs weren't hanging around, I'd be much happier. There's my strange buy. Now just remember I had to be careful to put even number back on the island, because we don't want to mess up the shucking ability. So that is one thing I did calculate and keep in my mind as I was determining those.